So my process is like, yes, I like to sketch things out. I like to have things on paper and shapes and forms and color, but it's not always hand drawing. I've done pieces where it's been collage and just taking like shapes of paper and being like, this is kind of the form of this person. And if you get the right director who like is really weird and will be weird with you, they'll be like, yes, but what if there's also a circle? And you can be like, yes, and what if that circle is yellow? The lovely and terrifying answer to that question is that I am still also figuring that out. And what I am finding is it's really helpful for me to talk to professionals in that industry. I do a lot of cold emailing. Sometimes I leverage connections from undergrad or my graduate program, like alums who have moved on and are doing that. And sometimes it's just me cold emailing artists whose work I really like, and I hope that they will sit down and get a cup of coffee with me. Find like a student project that you can hop on and kind of get your feet wet and figure out the ins and outs and go through that process with students who are also learning it and maybe have more experience with you than you and can kind of guide you through that process. I think every costume designer on the planet would say Alexander McQueen. Like every costume designer is like, I want it to feel a bit like Alexander McQueen came in here. And I think it's because that man was just, he was on to something really rich and really fantastical and a little gruesome. And so I gotta say, like a lot of times when I work on a show with a director, if we're searching for a vocabulary that's in fashion to bring into the show, we often are like, is it McQueen? Like, is it Alexander McQueen? Is it dripping in jewels that are blood? Is it a cage that's like bird bones? You know what I mean? Like that's usually where I like to go. I like that healthy mix of like reality competition shows that somehow have to do with storytelling and then like actual TV shows that have been fully produced and have like zero level of reality to them. I actually think the Glow Up, which is the makeup contest design show, is really cool and has been some inspiration. Shows like The Great Flower Fight, where they're constructing like 12-foot beetles out of peonies. Like it's humongous flower sculptures, and I was watching it and I was like, this is art. Like this is so cool and science. So I think there's like kind of the reality side of like shows like that you get like really inspired by. And then there's also like your TV shows that you're like, I don't know if anyone else watches this show, but like this weird show is really my jam. Like every graduate project I've touched, I've been like, I really love so many parts of this. I also want to burn this design and just torch it up. That's like inner artist voice that I am still trying to tame, is just like, you are your own worst critic. But like a great example of that is when I designed Blythe Spirit for the theater department at Westchester. And at the time I had like all this color psychology, like I did a whole color psychology palette, and I had like all these like wild ideas that Len Kelly really let me run with. And I was so proud of this piece. And I look back on the photos and I go, why did I choose that fabric for that dress? Like, what was the obsession? And I look back on some of like the little choices where I'm like, I didn't accessorize this character at all. Like, what was the choice there? And sometimes you have those projects where you're like, in the process, you're like, I hate this. And I can't tell anyone that I hate this. And then you look back on the photos later and you go, oh, that wasn't half bad. All right.